Hi, welcome back. I'm excited to share the way too early list of 2020 Democratic candidates. This should be a fun update. We'll see who's currently in and a couple who I think are going to jump in. But obviously, this is way too early. We're still quite a ways out, but I'm excited to go through just a handful. I'm going to do another update here in another couple of days on additional candidates. But just to get the ball rolling, we'll start with John Delaney. John Delaney is already a declared candidate. He's been running, and he declared, as a matter of fact, he entered the race 7 months after President Trump took office. So he entered in July of 2017. He's a three-term congressman from Maryland, entrepreneur, an executive. He's a self-made executive, self-made millionaire. Bought and sold a number of companies. His net worth, as you can tell there at the bottom, is $92.6 million. I like some of his positions. His first position, end political warfare by uniting Democrats, independents, and disaffected Republicans. So he's quite a stark contrast to President Trump. John Delaney, he's not very well known. His slogan is building a better future. As a congressman, he has a historic battle, given the fact that it's been over some 130 years since a congressman has won the presidency. And so we'll see how this goes. He spent a lot of time in Iowa. He's visited every single county in Iowa already. He's made multiple trips to New Hampshire, so he's hitting the early states. So he should be an interesting candidate as we get further into the race. Obviously, Michael Bloomberg, it's hard to not include him on a list. I don't know. I haven't done a power ranking yet, but since he's not declared, I didn't throw a slogan in for him. Most people already know him. He's a three-term mayor of New York City. He's got great name recognition. What's interesting on recent activity is that he spent $110 million on 2018 Democratic midterm races. So either he's pushing for Democratic wins, or he's posturing for a run for the presidency. It's interesting because as many people know his history, he was a Republican, he's been independent, and he recently registered as a Democrat. And so it almost appears that he's posturing for a run. His net worth is $45.8 billion, so he could easily self-finance a significant portion of his own race. And given the fact that he was the mayor of New York City, he'll have plenty of donor options to build a big war chest for a strong presidential run. Most everybody in the country knows Bernie Sanders. He had a very fascinating race last election cycle. Came down to him and Hillary Clinton, and he would be a strong contender. He did win his midterm election by a few points less than his prior one. However, he's increasing verbal attacks on the president, and which I think lends to a posturing for a race. Again, he has not yet announced that he's running, so I haven't thrown his slogan in. I'll update that as we get there. Now, out of the prior two candidates, he has the lowest net worth at a reported $2 million. Again, this isn't, I haven't gone into all their tax statements. These are easy Google searches that I've found what Google is stating their net worth is at. So he's obviously going to have to build another strong grassroots campaign and get plenty of donors in order to have another campaign like he did in the last election cycle. So we have Senator Elizabeth Warren. She's, I believe, clearly posturing. We have the recent Native American argument that she continues to push forward. And again, I'm not taking position on that either way. However, she did bring that out in the midterms, which I'm not sure how effective that was. And I almost wonder if she should have waited to provide that evidence a couple months after the midterm and really had maintained focused on the other candidates, which she did. She did stand up a war room and focused on dozens and dozens of races. She directed a lot of money, fundraising dollars to a significant number of races. However, a lot of those races didn't have great outcomes. And so I have to question some of her effectiveness in that. And Obviously, there's some posturing going on there. However, why wasn't she able to help move some of those races a little further? Her net worth is approximate between 3.7 and $10 million, and that's a combined net worth of her and her husband. And law professor, she'd be a great candidate, well spoken. However, again, we're way too early to start doing any power rankings. And then, and I'm trying to get Senator Harris's name correct, her first name correct. If I understand it's right, it's Kamala Harris. She's a first-term senator from California. She was prior to the California AG, Attorney General, and so that's a different perspective that we get from some of the other candidates, where she's bringing some state experience in, especially as a prosecutor, which I think would be a fascinating person to fill the chief executive position as a prosecutor. So some of the posturing we've seen, recent activity, she sent $25,000 to Democratic parties in all four of the early nominating states, which, I mean, why would you do that? Why would you select those four? Is that an arbitrary number of four? Obviously, there's some posturing there. And then she did stump for Iowa Democrats in Iowa, so she spent some time there. Her net worth, again, is also $2 million. She's a younger politician, and so I think that's why you see a lower net worth. It's fascinating to see some other politicians that over time their net worth increases while they're in public office, but they're not making millions of dollars every year. However, their net worth continues to grow. At any rate, that's a side topic that I'll do a video on another day. So there we have the 5 different candidates that I think could easily enter the race and run. And I think all 5 of them could put up a pretty good campaign against the current president. I'd love to hear your thoughts, comments, see what you think, and I'd also love to hear who you think might enter the presidential race for the Democratic Party.